We're going to be making exploded text. So we're going to start with a new file. And I want the file to be 6 by 4 inches. And a resolution of 300. I need a black background, so I'm going to add a solid layer. The text I'm using is Mighty Slab. It's in fonts.adobe.com, but any large, bulky text will be good for this. I want my text to be white. Now I want to transform my text, Control T, holding Alt so it goes from the center. Oops. And I also want to stretch it, so I'm holding Shift. To center my text, I'm going to go ahead and use Control A to select my canvas. And Control D to deselect it. Now I'm going to add my texture, so I'm going to place it embedded. And it needs to be bigger than my text, so holding Alt, I'm going to make it bigger. And now we need to make it black and white. So I'm going to add a hue saturation layer and take the saturation all the way down. And then I'm going to select the soil layer, and I'm using Control L to add a levels adjustment to it. And we're going to do that one more time. That looks good. Now we need to clip this to the text layer. So holding Alt, I can see the little clipping mask. Now if you like where the cracks are, you can continue on from here. Or if you want to move them around a little bit, you can select the soil layer and Control T again, and you can move it around. Or make it bigger. So now we're going to make a group out of this. So everything above the color fill layer, Control G to group it. And then now we want a copy of it. So I'm going to jump the layer, Control J. And then I'm going to merge the group. And that's made it one piece. So now we need to get rid of the black. So I'm going to go select, color range, and select the black, and then delete, just the delete key. Now to see if that really got it all, we can turn off the layer and we can see that the big black lines are gone. So we want to zoom in on the letter E. I want to deselect, and I want to select just the letter E. And I'm going to do Control X and then Control Shift V, and it puts the E on its own layer. And I'm going to do this process with the rest of the letter E. Using my lasso, and then I'm going to Control T to move the piece off. And then keep going on. Control X, Control Shift V. I always forget to go back to the layer. Control X, Control T. Control X. I did it again. And you don't want to make sure that you don't remove too much because you want to still be able to see that it's an E. So I think I'm just going to remove one more little piece here. So the E is done. So one of the things that I do is I name my layers. So I can easily get back to just the letter E. So you're going to do this for the rest of your letters. So I'm going to jump ahead because I already have this part of it done. So you can see I have all my layers here. So I'm going to group these. And then I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to put it under the group. This is going to be our splatter layer. So I want to use a brush to make my splatter. And I'm using this dust broke brush pack. I'm going to make sure my color is white. And then I'm just going to add splatter. Oh, you've got to make sure your flow is all the way up. You can make the brush bigger or smaller using the bracket keys. And I'm going to switch to the other brush. Okay, once you've got your splatter, we're going to need to put texture on that. So we're going to need a copy of this layer here. So I'm jumping the layer and putting it above the splatter layer. And it's got to be bigger than all the splatter. And then we're going to clip it. So this was the end of the tutorial that I had watched, and I didn't want to leave it to be white, so I went ahead and added some color. And I make that 90 degrees. And it has to be bigger than all the white text and splatter and all of that. And then I'm going to clip it to the letters. And then so you can call it done here, or you can try some other textures. So I did that. So I'm going to embed another texture. Make sure that covers everything. And clip it. And you can play with the blend modes to see how you can change it. So I set it to multiply. And then we were playing around with it in class and turned on both of the layers, but I liked it, but it was way too dark. So I just went ahead and added the levels and I brightened it up. And that's the exploded text.